While Congress debates the future of the Federal Reserve, a group of Occupy protesters is taking matters into their own hands with its rolling jubilee. Now, for almost a year, the Strike Debt Group has been buying consumer debt for pennies on the dollar on the secondary market and then immediately forgiving it. No strings, no conditions, a clean start for people saddled in debt. The group has raised over $620,000 and has spent $400,000 of it abolishing almost $15 million worth of debt. That debt belonged to 2,693 people from 45 states as well as Puerto Rico. Now, the group is planning festivals and assemblies in New York and several other states this Friday to celebrate its accomplishments. For more, I'm joined now by debt strike activist Jacques Laroche. Thank you so much for joining me, Jacques. Now, when you first embarked on this strike debt campaign, did you expect to see this kind of success, forgiving almost $15 million worth of debt?
Actually, we did, because we found out in the secondary debt market that debt is being sold for pennies on the dollar. And if you can get into that market and purchase the debt, you can abolish it and relieve a lot of people from their suffering, their undue suffering. So yeah, it was totally foreseeable.
Let's talk about what kind of debt your group is going after.
Okay, we've been going after medical debt, but we're having a shift and transition, at least here in New York. We're looking at going after student debt and trying to build a student movement. We have chapters that are all across the nation, and they are going to be focusing on finding creative ways of attacking this system of debt, this pernicious system of debt. But ultimately, I think the thing is, it really comes down to us as individuals saying no to this system. And there are many ways for us to do this. Like, basically, for example, 95% of debt that is disputed is absolutely not collected. So there's one tool in the toolkit of like individuals to actually do something to take power back in their own hands and like relinquish themselves from this system of debt bondage.
Absolutely. Now, one of the questions that I heard a lot is how loan companies are responding to this kind of campaign. Have you gotten any kind of pushback?
No, we have not. But I mean, who knows what could happen? But the point is for us to keep the fight going, to keep pushing the ante and to refuse these illegitimate debts. Like, for example, 62% of medical debts or bankruptcies are tied to medical debts. And a large chunk of those people actually had a health insurance. So like the point is these debts are illegitimate and immoral. So people should be refusing them on that basis. And like with the tools that I said before, you know, there's lots of ways to do that, like disputing or refusing. And there's already an army of student debtors who have not been paying their debts. There's millions of them who have not been paying their debts, and that's a form of refusal right there. The thing is, what we need to do is figure out a new model of unionization where it's not connected to labor and to jobs, but actually to something else, to our debts or to whatever else we want to unionize and collectivize about, to take our power, to give ourselves some breathing room in this system that's continuously crushing us from all sides.
Now, obviously, the strike debt campaign is not going to be able to wipe Americans of all of their debt. There's just too much of it. But what I want to know from you is, what is the ultimate goal here?
The ultimate goal is to really bring awareness to people that these debts are illegitimate and that we should not be engaged in this kind of system where we're being taken advantage of. For example, with the ruling jubilee, with what we're doing, it makes it very obvious that these debt collectors are the lenders in themselves, in and of themselves, are more than willing to write off the debts, right? I mean, because we're biting them for so cheap. So the thing is, if they're willing to write them off, why aren't they willing to write them off to you and me, right? So that's more ammunition, like I said, with these kind of like toolkits that we have as individuals. If a debt collector is giving you a call, I mean, you have ammunition right there to say, hold up, I know you bought my debt. for super cheap, for pennies on the dollar. Now you have moral weight to say, I refuse this debt. You know, it's completely illegitimate. Like, I mean, in a system where you have education that's focusing on teaching us how to exploit each other and how to exploit the environment, like those debts to that education system are illegitimate.
And we know that your group is reaching its one-year anniversary here on the 15th, and you have celebrations planned. So we look forward to seeing what comes from your group in the future. Strike debt activist Jacques LaRoche, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, Megan.